Okay, Wednesday, 15th of April, 2026. Bitcoin, watching it like a hawk. Now, there's a recent situation in Iran with regards to oil and the Straits of Hormuz. It's been talked about a lot. So I realised that had I had my wits about me a month ago, let's say, before or just at the very start of the situation happening there, when Iran, or the keyword Iran or Straits of Hormuz was in the news, then I would have gone out and bought oil. Because even on that potential it going up, well, by the fact it being mentioned indicates something may or may not happen. Something might happen, whatever else, in the future, i.e. today. So if you buy oil, lock it in at, say, £1, but then Straits of Hormuz, situation escalates, war, etc., price goes up. There we are, you've locked in at an earlier time, a lower price, because you had the foresight, or you were sufficiently forewarned, to think that the odds of probability are going to go up, to say the odds of probability are in favour of the price going up, by the sheer fact of it being mentioned as a keyword in the news. So then we could say, right, well, we want to have such awareness in the market that we want to map out different kinds of situations that would cause a 5%, 10%, 20, you name it, pick a number, percentage drop in Bitcoin. What would cause a 10% drop? Oh, X, Y, Z. Okay. And then we want to set up alarms, Google Alerts, for example, YouTube, Twitter, things like that, at least, Google Alerts, at least, for these keywords. Or what if it's for a 20% drop? These things as well. ABC, XYZ, ABC. Okay, Google Alerts again. So that way, when these things are mentioned in the market in general, that means that its potential dip is on the way, or a potential spike in price, things like that. By being aware of what may or may not happen in the market, by keeping an eye on the pulse of the market, as in what's trending, what's being discussed, just in the same way Iran is discussed, Straits of Hormuz is discussed, then we can it helps with predicting what's going to happen next. As in, is Bitcoin going to be selling at a discount or a premium? Meaning, is the price going to go up or down? But we know strategically, this bad thing, X over here, this thing, and then that's probably going to result in a 5% drop, for example. So then you could say, right, well, by watching the trending topics, internet, the market, like a hawk, we can predict, of course, aside from fundamentals, RSI, stochastics, MACD, etc. This is more fundamental. This is more other one. What's it? Fundamentals and technicalities and fundamentals. That's it. Actually, this is extra layer of fundamentals, really. By watching what's happening, we can predict what's going to happen, possibly the next, or have a stronger sense of probability of what's going to happen later on. And if you have dry powder, you're recognizing a potential buying opportunity for you. Essentially, you've got this keyword here, Google Alert, and you're conscious that keyword often may lead to a drop. You're stacking probabilities on top of each other in order to know what situation could happen tomorrow. So at a deeper level, you're not surprised. So when people say, "Oh, it's dropped by 10%," you say, "I know. The past week or so, I've been following it. This news, that news, this news, this news, this trend, this tweet, this video, whatever else. Yeah, I know." Because on a fundamental level, one thing I was taught a long time ago in Forex is that when it's in the headlines, the money's already been made. So when you see things like Bitcoin at a new all-time high, the money, in terms of the Forex or the traders or whoever else, the options and futures and whatever else, the money's already made. Oh, the price has gone up to $100 a barrel. Well, some commodities broker out there in the world has had a leverage long on on oil, and they've made their money. That's it. When it's in the headlines, you could kind of argue it's too late, because at that point the information is saturated so much that it's kind of certain. It's a certain play, and with that certainty, it means that there's less opportunity in there, because it's the edges where you find opportunity, as in connecting the dots here. This trend, that headline, this tweet, this picture, this video, this event, you piece it together. Balance of probability says going up. going to go down, and then you act accordingly based on that. Hence why watching the market. Hence why if we map out what could happen, this might happen, that might happen, we can predict the future easily, or easier. We can easily predict the future, and we can predict the future easier. Technicalities. Grammatical technicalities. So then we could say, right, then to what extent do you want to watch the hawk? How many Google alerts do you want to have, and how many can you handle? Or what kind of things would be worth watching out for? So a 10% drop versus 50% drop. Because the problem you then have is information overload. One email every day from Google Alerts with tons of information, or scrolling through the feeds on X and social media, or going on news, etc., etc., things like that. How much information is too much information? Because at an even deeper level, remember, watching like a hawk, we could say that by not being a forced buyer or seller, we've won. Meaning, he who can just outlast the market the longest has already won. It's just taking time to play out. This is fascinating to say. He who is most liquid, he who has the fewest margin calls, he who has the fewest leverage, he who can sit still and do nothing the longest will win. Arguably, like I just said, has won. It's just taking time for the market to play out. Wow. And you could say that's more of a risk appetite thing. And you could even say, well, inversely, I don't want to watch the market. Headlines, Google Alerts, etc., etc. I want the surest thing, Bitcoin as in the title, because Bitcoin is math, physics, and computer science, open source code, to then say, well, I do nothing, stack sats. I don't need to watch the market. I could, if we want to do what's called DCA, value DCA, meaning when the price is more suppressed at a discount, that's a good time to buy. As in, the lower the price is, the more DCAing we do versus the higher price, the less we do. Averaging out and getting the mission is to get most satoshis per dollar per pound, that kind of stuff. So then you could say when it's at a discount, hence by watching it like a hawk, we know when to DCA more. That's the fundamental thing. To what extent, in this video, to what extent do you want to watch the market like a hawk? Then we're going to map out different scenarios that could happen that can lead to different price situations. But the inverse, as I just said, the inverse is the more liquid you are, the fewer margin calls you have, the less you need to do all of this, because it's attrition. And that's another video really, but that's powerful. Watching Bitcoin like a hawk. How much information do you want in order to predict or help predict the future? But otherwise, Adrian's daily vlog, sharing smart stuff men should know. Subscribe for more, and you will see me tomorrow.